So now we get into interpreting a graph and understanding what the points are actually meaning. So I'm just going to read this little bit of information. It says, on the previous page, you solved a problem about a geometric figure graphed in the coordinate plane. A coordinate plane graph can also be used to show relationships between two real-world quantities. That word quantities, we want to think about, it means the amount of something. So here it says Mia works as a dog groomer at a pet store. The coordinate plane shows the relationship between the number of dogs Mia grooms and the number of hours she works. Okay, so let's just really quick analyze our graph. We see that our x-axis is the hours she worked, and I can see that it goes all the way up to 10 hours. On the y-axis over here, it's the dogs groomed. So it looks like it gives me the hours, and then it tells me within those hours how many dogs were able to be groomed. So let's look at point A. It says use the titles on the axis to explain how to interpret a point on the graph. Well, I just kind of did that. Looking at the hours worked on the x-axis, it's going to tell me how many dogs she can groom within those hours. Okay, so let's look at part B. How many dogs did Mia groom in 4 hours? So I'm going to look at my x-axis because that shows me how many hours she worked. So I'm going to go over to 4. Well, how many, looking up at my graph, how many dogs did she groom within those 4 hours? Well, she groomed 8 dogs. How do you know? Because I understand what the relationship is between the x-axis and the y-axis. I look over at 4 and I go all the way up to 8 dogs. Look at part C. What do the coordinates of the point located at 3, 6 represent in this situation? So let's think about, what does the 3 represent? And I'm just going to write this information here. The 3 represents how many hours she worked. And what does the 6 represent? The 6 represents how many dogs she can groom, or that she did groom within those 3 hours. Okay, so the next slide, we're going to be looking at what the graph is telling us, and we're kind of looking at a pattern. Can you see the pattern that's happening? Every hour, how many more dogs does she groom? So I'm looking at 1, 2, right? That's my first point right here, right there. In 2 hours, how many dogs does she groom? She grooms 4. In 3 hours, how many dogs does she groom? 6. So think about every hour that increases, how many more dogs is increasing? 2 dogs. She's adding 2 dogs every hour. So for each hour she completes, she can groom 2 more dogs, 2 times that amount.